We're back with episode 2. Today's guest here, my boy Johnny. He does it all.
Yo,
Thank you for
up?
being here today.
I appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. I think this was long overdue.
Yes.
Bro, I still remember when I met you 3 years ago. Crazy enough, this morning when I got up, I you know how you get the memories on your phone and it shows you pop-ups of pictures?
Yeah, the 3
Bro,
years.
it was when the photo that popped up was a photo when I went to the studio and my boy Cassie was shooting a music video there and you were helping out with the music video. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, that was the, we did that at the studio in Jardine. Is
Yeah.
that where I met you?
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
That's where we met.
Dude,
So
I thought I met you on
in.
a carpet somewhere, man. We see each other often in the field, so.
No, it was crazy because I remember coming in, my boy hit me up and he's like, hey, do you have a MIDI controller? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, do you have a MIDI controller? I'm right here like a block away from you. And I remember going to the studio and you were there helping out. And then he tells me, like, he introduces us and I'm like, oh shit. Like, damn, okay, cool.
Wow.
So anyway, we met and then I just kind of started following you from there on. And I just saw all the work that you were doing and the company that you were working for. And I was like, bro, like, you know, it was just like throughout the years, you know, just seeing what you've been able to do and, you know, everywhere that you're at. And again, like you said, we meet at the carpets, but I'm like, okay, I got to wait for the right time to connect with this guy. I know we always talked about it. I feel like we talked about it like last year.
Yeah.
We're like, bro, we got to link up and see what we can work on. But yeah, bro, thank you.
Yeah, that's insane, man. The 3 years memory thing, I didn't realize that could be such a cool tool like how it is right now.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. That was a really cool day, by the way.
Yeah.
That day I was like, we were shooting a show with like multiple cameras, audio. I jumped in and did all of that. It was, really fascinating. That time flies.
You know, it was crazy because I didn't realize how close you guys were to where I was working at. And I just always saw the view and everything. I'm like, where the hell is this studio at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then just to be there, it was like, oh shit, it's right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the way you were just moving and getting everything together, I was like, man, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know?
We converted a penthouse to a full studio. It was like a 3-bedroom penthouse.
Wow.
And we converted it to a studio where we shoot a few shows out of. One being the Jason Lee show, and then we have another room where we do the Jason Lee podcast. And actually, at the time when you guys came, we were renting the space out for other creators, smaller creators, to like utilize the space and like shoot podcasts, which is what your boy actually rented the space to do.
Right.
But then I forgot why we pivoted, but we were just like, we have so many rooms here, like we should just utilize it more for our internal businesses.
Right.
Because I work for Hollywood Unlocked.
Right.
And we were like, let's just turn it into a full studio where we can just do multiple shows here. So we kind of got away with the smaller like rental studio space situation, and we kind of moved into a full 3-studio like space.
Dope.
Yeah.
I love the whole concept that you guys had going on, and it kind of makes sense, right? Like why you guys stopped doing that. But hey, real quick, for the people that don't know Johnny, tell us a little bit about you and what you do in the business.
So Johnny's from Bronx, New York. Sometimes people can hear it in my accent, sometimes they can't, it depends. I've been out here in LA for like 5 years now, so I think my accent's going away, but some people say it's still there. But anyways, I'm from the Bronx, and I'm a Boricua. Not a lot of Boricuas in LA. I got kind of involved in the film and TV space about maybe 10 years ago at Nickelodeon is where I kind of started. Yeah, I was there. I was a production assistant there and kind of climbed the ranks up as a producer.
Wow.
And it was really the place where I started to really gauge and understand what I enjoyed in the media space, if you will. But I'm somebody that likes to get my hands on everything. If I can help and do it, I'm gonna jump in and go head first.
Right.
So I started to do a lot of producing there, and I was editing, shooting, doing a little directing on my rise, and then I was like, you know what? Because you're a Cali guy, right? Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I gotta make my way out west. I feel like it's the place that I gotta be. I feel like with my charisma and like what I do from New York, I feel like it would shine out in LA. I don't know. So I was like, I gotta find that opportunity, and lo and behold, an opportunity presented itself.
Yeah.
And this was in the middle of COVID too.
Wow.
This was 2021. So I just took the risk and I just moved out here. That's a part of who I am. I like to take risks. I like to give things a shot. I'm young. I know to do it in this industry, it's a hustle, it's a grind. It's important to network, and everyone that you meet is pivotal in how you do things because you just never know where you're going to end up. And I don't like to really close doors. So I just, kept my blinders on, took the opportunity, and didn't look back.
So when you initially came out here, did you feel like did you already have a game plan and you think were going to work out for you, or you were just kind of like, I'm just going to go out there because I want to find
Yeah, I didn't
opportunity?
have a straightforward game plan. I was just like, West Coast is where I got to be, and I got to plant myself if I'm going to make it work.
Right.
I just felt like New York was very limited in that production space that I wanted to be in.
Yeah.
There was a lot of post-production, a lot of marketing out there, but when it came to actual production and meeting the players in it, I felt like LA was the better place for that. So I came out here kind of taking a risk. No game plan per se. I just knew that the space that I was going to join with Hollywood Unlocked, I knew they were very involved in the space, in the Hollywood space, with celebrities, actors, musicians, producers, PR, that kind of thing. And I've been learning as I went too. It wasn't just I didn't know it all when I came out here.
So basically, when you came out here, you already kind of had an idea that you might land this gig with Hollywood Unlocked? Or
I told myself I wasn't leaving. I wasn't the guy that was like, I'm going to go to LA on a hope and a dream and figure it out. I was like, I ain't going to go to LA until I get a job out there.
Yeah.
But when I get the job, I'll figure out what it is I need to do or how I want to do it.
Got you.
I did start wanting to direct films and be like a movie director, but I think being in the digital space, I fell in love with it. I love how fast it moves.
Oh yeah.
I love how turnkey it is. I love that there's not like a preciousness about it. Like it can be as cinematic and as scrappy as you want it to be, as long as the storytelling is strong. It goes far, and I really enjoyed that. So I figured, let me just plant myself out here. I got the job. And I was like, great, this is the perfect opportunity to go out there with some stability.
Right.
And I took the role, and I've been here for 5 years. It's been pretty great.
Damn.
I'm loving it.
What would you say would have been some of the challenges that you have faced, like since moving to Los Angeles, as far as like working in the business of entertainment? As as a Latino, do you feel like, I always thought, and the reason I ask, like for me, for example, I remember coming out here, and even now, when I'm in certain spaces, there's very, very few of us working in these spaces. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's just a challenge, right? Because especially like for me as a Mexican, bro, like I feel like we don't like helping one another grow and like open doors for, to new opportunities. You know what I mean? It's like, si yo estoy, like if I'm in that space, I'm just like, people sometimes feel threatened because they're like, oh, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the only one here. Like, how am I going to maintain this or, give someone an opportunity? Did you ever feel like in sort of way like that? Like,
are you saying that sometimes like other Latinos might, or people of color for that matter, they might exclude or keep people out of the space? That's interesting. It's one of those things where it's like you crave like-minded individuals that look like us because our ideas matter, our representation matters in what we do. I do feel like sometimes it's not so much excluding people, but it's kind of like imposter syndrome. It's like, damn, they barely let any of us in, and if I'm in here, I got to put on for my people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not that you're excluding people. Sometimes it can feel like you are, but in my mind, I think it's like you carry a big burden to represent for the masses, which it shouldn't be like that. It should be the more the merrier, everyone included. I don't know. I get nervous that like being in these corporate spaces, especially in the Hollywood, proximity to whiteness sometimes creates this machine that is very hard to pull people out of. And I feel like that's why it can feel very lonely. And if you're in, you feel like you got the golden ticket. Right. And it's hard because it's not our fault that, it's hard to explain that. But I would say the challenge is fighting to bring others in. Right.
No, that I definitely understand that. And I feel that, and me myself, and I always talk about this because, I feel like there's finally right now, I feel like we're living in a space or in a time where Latino representation is finally out there to the fullest, right? I mean, we just had Bad Bunny perform at the Super Bowl. Yeah. I never thought we would see this moment, to be honest. Like, if you asked me a few years ago, like, did we? What do you think about that? Like, what do you think?
I mean, I thought it was really great. I love seeing the representation, particularly I'm a Puerto Rican. Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican specifically. So to see him on the stage like that, you know. But I think that, you know, Bad Bunny wasn't the first to do it.
Oh.
You know, J-Lo, you know, she was another Puerto Rican that did
Right.
something like that. And she had a very visual stage with, you know, kids in cages.
Right.
The message was there. You know, Noriega, you know, he's a Latino Puerto Rican
Right.
as well. And even in the song Oye Mi Canto, like,
For
he
sure.
did something very similar to
Right.
what Bad Bunny did. In fact, I think he also was someone pivotal in Daddy Yankee's career.
Right.
So I say that to say that, like, we've been around, we've been here, we've always been trying our best to show up and say, hey, I'm here. Like,
Right.
this is what we want. We want this unification. I think it's just the time. You know,
Right.
this is just the time where, like, this representation is needed. And with
Right.
everything going on in the administration and with ICE, I think that, like, people are seeing us in these situations that, like, his message was needed right now.
Right.
So it's beautiful to see. I just feel like it was long overdue, and I feel like people have been fighting for that for so long and have been doing it. It's just like everything met at a point,
Right.
and that is Bad Bunny, you know?
Right. I don't know. I've been thinking about this, and I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on it, but like, you know, again, like, everything just happened at the right time, and like you said, right now, with everything that's happening in the world, it was much needed. But how do you think we can maintain this representation going moving forward? You know, I felt like there was a time a couple of years ago that, you know, we were getting highlighted, but more now than ever, like, I feel that our sound is global. People are listening. We are the biggest consumer in the business. How do you think we can continue to maintain that and making sure that we are still being recognized as for who we are?
You know, we talk about unity and unification, and, you know, Bad Bunny calling out all the flags, that was really great. But I think that for us to have a presence here, we have to be even more inclusive. And that's not just Latino representation.
Right.
I think that's like, it's very inclusive of, like, the Black Americans that, you know, were very pivotal in building the country, making sure they're included as well, because we're fighting alongside them. They open a lot of doors for others to come in and have the spaces that we're in and take up the spaces that we're in. You know, it's very easy to say, like, in order to bring more Latinos in, we have to be loud about our culture and our heritage and be proud of us. And yes, we should be proud, but not proud to the point where we're excluding people.
Oh, no, definitely.
You know,
yeah.
because sometimes pride can go to that extreme.
Right.
And so it's just being mindful of including everyone, because at the end of the day, we're a minority. And
Right.
when you're a minority, it's important that you bring in other minorities, because the more minorities are in one place, become a majority. You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Very powerful. No, I agree with you, because, you know, I started Industry Connection, which is a platform, educational platform, where, you know, I think I kind of mentioned this to you. So over the last couple of years, been able to give job placements to people, but it's mainly for people that are minorities, right? And I think we need unity. I think that we need to continue to help one another to grow and be represented. And so I felt the need of creating a space for people to come into these panels and hear others and be inspired by others and say, like, hey, you know, I'm a Black person, I'm a Latino, whatever ethnicity, but being like, hey, there is a space for everyone, but how are we going to do that, you know, by opening up more doors to others? And that's when I messaged you yesterday, I said, like, dude, like, the whole idea of this is not just really highlight me, but, you know, to share and, like, let people know, like, there's hope, you know, and that we all can
Absolutely.
be a part of this. It's just, it doesn't need to be just because, oh, you're white or you're Black, whatever. There's a space for everyone to be a part of this business. Sure. It doesn't matter who you are, you know?
Yeah, and even sexuality too. Like, you know, I'm a gay man, you know. I won't say there's a lack of LGBT in the industry,
Yeah.
but LGBT of color, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of that I see,
Right.
particularly in the network, corporate spaces, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, no, all those perspectives matter, because, like you said, whether you're white, Black, you want Latino, Asian Pacific, whatever, like, you know, all of those voices.
Right.
We have similar experiences, even across ethnicities and racial differences. So there's more overlap than there is.
Right.
But thank you for creating your space and platform, man. It's needed. It's very needed.
Yeah, no. Again, it's always about giving back, right? I think I've been fortunate enough to be in spaces that I never thought I would be, honestly. and work with people that I never thought I could ever work with. So just being able to do that myself, and coming to this business with no ties and no connections, I said, like, if I'm able to do it, anybody can do it. But sometimes we just need an extra push, and we need someone to tell us, like, hey, there's a space for you out there to do it.
And you do need mentorship too.
Yeah.
Like I think that's something important. You need to find somebody that can help guide you, especially if you have no experience, right?
Yeah.
Like I went to school, I studied a little bit of film,
Right.
and I took an abroad program to focus and specialize in it. But I would not say it was nearly enough of experience to say, like, I studied this hardcore. A lot of it I learned on the field.
Yeah.
I needed people to bring me in and give me an opportunity to prove myself.
Right.
And it's on you to really just go hard and lock in
Yeah.
and do it right. Because, there are a lot of slackers too.
Right.
So how hard you work, that does show in
Right.
what you do.
No, and it's crazy because, I went to school also for, to study audio engineering and do all this stuff. But the reality of it, I remember graduating, right? And you could probably relate to this, but I remember graduating and I was like, I want to work for this company or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm going to apply, whatever. The reality that I've learned, it took me 5 years to figure this shit out, right? I was applying for all these jobs and I was not getting callbacks. And I thought because I had an associate's degree in whatever audio engineering that I soon would land a job, and it really just turned out to be like, hey, you just got to go out there, network, meet people.
Yeah.
And, I never wanted to be a runner because I was like, fuck being a runner because I don't want to do all the dirty work. Yeah. But honestly, that's kind of like how I got my way in, right? And it didn't matter like what school I went to or whatever. It was just more of making the connections, meeting people. And even now, like I what you said earlier, like, just you never want to close doors because you never know who you might need, right, in the business. But literally, like, I'll pick up any gig still, like, from anyone. It doesn't matter how big or small it is, because there's been times when I needed something from those people that has helped me with whatever project I'm working or whatnot. And keeping those relationships have been so important that now if they ask me for something, like, for me to come and work with them on a project and it's something small, like, I take it because your relationships are so important in this business that you just never know when you might need those people again.
And I like that you said you'll take, like, you didn't want to be a runner, but you did that. Like, people underestimate the value of taking on. You have to do those hard roles to learn where, like, and navigate your career. That you start at the bottom and you work your way up. There's no shortcuts in this shit. If you started at the top and you would lack the experience and the know-how of the people at the bottom. That's how I see it. Right. So like you said, I don't really ever turn down a role or anything because it's too big or too small. I'm open to it all. Yeah. For real.
I always like asking people these questions, people that work in the business. Like, what advice would you give anyone that is trying to be like a creative director or be, within that field? Like, is there something that you feel like you can share, some advice or anything like that can help them or guide them through, landing a position?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was just having this conversation with my friend today, but like all the jobs that I've ever gotten in this industry, I did not go online and apply. Like, I have never, even at my job at Nick, like, I had gotten an internship and I made really good friends with this guy at TV Land at the time. And he loved my energy. I was kind, I was a hard worker. He could rely on me. And when that internship ended, I left, and it wasn't for maybe another 3 years, and I was working a bunch of little odd jobs while I was trying to figure my way in the industry, and he called me, and he was just like, hey, Johnny, I don't know if you're looking for a job in this space, but we have a PA assistant, or PA role opening up at Nick. Sent my resume and got in. Even my job right now with Hollywood Unlocked, I got it because I was on Clubhouse. I don't know if you remember Clubhouse during the pandemic. Dude, I was playing dominoes with my family. It was around Christmas time. And my partner, he calls me and he's like, yo, Jason Lee's on Clubhouse. I didn't know who Jason Lee was. And he was on Clubhouse interviewing for a producer role. And I was like, what? No way. So I jumped in and he was kind of talking about the role he wanted. And I was like, what? So I raised my hand at my family's table, not thinking he was going to pull me on stage. He pulls me on stage like, yo, John, you got 30 seconds. Give me your elevator pitch. I book it to my grandma's room, And I'm like, yo, what's up? It's Johnny. I'm a producer at Nick. I do all this XYZ. Gave my 30-second pitch. Jason liked my speech. He was like, no way. I'm interested in continuing the conversation. Email me and we'll go from there. And I just stayed in the room a little longer to hear other people get on stage. And he kept referring back to me like, yo, I need you guys to come on stage like Johnny came on stage. I need professionalism. I need to know what you guys do. Keep it short, keep it sweet. Tell me what it is you want and move on. And I felt geeked because I was like, oh shit, he liked me.
Right.
And yo, the job, he hit me 3 days later and was like, you got, if you're interested in the job, are you willing to move out to LA? And he said yes. I said yes. And 2 weeks later, I moved out here, bro, and the rest is history.
Wow.
But I say that to say my advice is take risks. You never know. Take a risk. And network your ass off. Like, be nice to people because people will remember you for how you treated them.
Right.
And they'll circle back, and you never know how that comes about. All my jobs have been that way, word of mouth.
No, that's crazy. I've been in that same role, right? Deal with a lot of students, and they're like, hey, how did you do to get there? Or how did you do to land that gig? And honestly, like this business is all about recommendations.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's nowhere, like I don't know. I can't remember the last time I applied for a job. You know?
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
And the gigs just keep coming in, and like, people hit me up about things, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to tell you to go apply for a job. The only thing I could tell you is go out and network, meet people. Make sure you leave a good impression and be an asset and be genuine and be intentional. Mm-hmm. People will remember that.
I will add one more piece of advice.
Yeah.
And this was something that stuck with me younger because, in a space where people are learning and trying to grasp a lot of things, it is important that you position yourself for something though too. Because when people are trying to think of like, oh, I'm looking for an editor, right? Like if you position yourself as a producer, they're not going to think of you for the call. But if they're looking for an editor and you said, yo, I really have a passion in editing, I enjoy editing, I do all these other things, but I like to edit, then you're more likely to get the call. And that was the situation with Nick and I was enjoying the producing aspect of it. Right. And while the role wasn't a producer, it was a production assistant, there was ranks to climb up to that level. Right. So it is important that you kind of position yourself at a point of value in that regard, and then people can think of you for that thing. But I am someone that likes to get my hands dirty, so I'm not closed off to one thing when I'm there.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely the same way with that. Is there any special projects you have coming on or anything that you're working on?
Independently, I don't have anything that I'm working on independently at the moment. A lot of my gigs that I do on the side they're kind of like start and wrap.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything yet. However, I am someone that like produces shows, podcasts. So, if anyone's interested in producing a podcast or a show, digital show, I'm definitely the guy. But right now I'm kind of locked in with HU. We have a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Between the Hollywood Like Impact Awards, which you've come to a few times.
Bro, you do it all, man.
Yeah.
I see you moving, I see you working, and I'm like, this guy stays busy.
Yeah, man.
Over there.
It's a lot of work. But I love it, man. I love it.
And I think that's the beauty of it, though. When you love it, it doesn't even feel like work, right?
Like, it really doesn't.
I was just telling David earlier, when I'm working, I feel like I'm in my element, right? Like, I was like, can I get an extra 10 hours a day so I can just...
I mean, that's really the fight. It's like the day's done. You're like, holy crap, the day is done. Like, tomorrow's another day, and you kind of rinse and repeat. But, you do got to take time for yourself, especially in the creative space, because at least for me, creatively, I get burnout. And in order for me to, like, function and do creative shit how I want to, I do need to reset myself. But man, when you love the work, even when I'm shooting the podcast, like, I experience it a couple times because I'm experiencing it while I'm shooting it, and it's hilarious. But then when I'm sitting in the edit and I'm editing it, I'm experiencing it all over again. Right. And I'm editing that and I'm cracking up. And I knew the job was for me when I'm sitting there laughing while I'm editing. It doesn't feel like a chore. Right. It feels like fun, Yeah. Like, oh shoot, I'm getting paid to do cool shit.
Do you ever find it hard to find a balance though? Like,
Yes.
Right.
1,000%. I took a therapist recently. Yeah. I've been pretty consistent with him, and it's been pretty crazy because it's not something you can put your finger on. Like I tell you to get a therapist. I can't tell you like what it does other than you just feel like you like let baggage go, Right. And the part of my therapy session that I've been really discussing in this is like when I'm not working, I feel like I'm on standby with a project. So like I can't watch TV or I can't properly relax because I feel like I'm wasting time when I could be working, and that's not healthy because technically you're never off because even when you're off sitting there doing nothing and your brain is like, I need to be doing something, you kind of feel on still. So you're not really ever off. So my therapist made it a point to tell me like, all right, when you're clocked out, close your laptop and don't think about work.
Yeah.
Like say this, I'm scheduling time to just be a bum and do nothing. Like just log out, do whatever. And that's been helpful, bro.
Yeah.
Even like at 6 p.m. when I close my laptop and I'm done, like I just don't think about work. It's been super helpful.
Really, bro. I think I need to find something, do something like that because that's one of my biggest problems. I'm always like constantly thinking, and if I'm not doing something, like I get so anxious. But I know I have work, right? Like I have work to do, but I don't know how to find. It's been hard for me to find that balance, right?
Yeah.
And I'm married, and I have businesses that I run, and all these things aside from, my regular, 8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I find it hard to just be like, okay, at what point am I going to say like enough is enough?
Yeah.
Right? But then I find myself when, dealing with things in life, like going to work is like an escape for me. So then I tend to stay just busy.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't have kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. If you have kids, you want to be present for your
Right.
kids, and if you're running around doing that work, like how do you? I can't imagine having a family right now, bro. It's so crazy to think about kids and I'm 35, bro.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should be getting close to that point, but I can't even. It's just our lives are so busy. I just I don't know how that.
I talk to people that have kids, and I'm like, how do you guys even do it?
I don't know.
How do you do it? Especially living in a city, or even let alone if you're working, probably just not. I don't want to say just entertainment, but in a company where I don't know where you're supposed to be locked in for like 14 hours, and then you got to go home and spend time with family and your kids, and then take your kids to daycare and do all that kind of stuff. I'm like, how do people find the time to do all that?
I have no idea, man. But I know that life is in phases, and so like my thing is like I don't mind working super hard right now.
Yeah.
Because I want to have more free time, and I want to have more time for me down the road. And as in my 30s, my brain is oriented much differently than it was in its 20s.
Right.
In my 30s, I'm like trying to find, I guess. I feel like I'm locked in on my craft, but like now it's like finding my purpose.
Right.
Whereas like in my 20s, it was about finding my craft.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in my 40s, that life journey there'll be something new there for me. And I'm not sure what that is yet. But when I'm 40, I'll let you know.
It's so crazy you say that because I had a conversation with my wife about that. I'm 37, and I told my wife, look, the next 3 years, I just want to risk it. I'm going to continue taking risks, doing everything I can. I'm going to fucking just work my ass off. Do whatever I got to do, get that adrenaline out of me.
Yeah.
But when I'm 40, I promise you, this is not going to be like this no more.
How far are you from 40?
3 years.
Okay.
I said, I don't want to do this lifestyle no more. You know what I mean? Like being on the go, working. And I just always feel like I don't want to miss on opportunities because I want to continue just being relevant. And I say this to her, I've always, because sometimes she's like, hey, why do you got to go over there? Why you got to go to that event? Or why you got to do this? And I'm like, look, in this business, you got to continue to stay relevant and continue to be out there so people can remember you.
Yeah, and see you. Yeah, and is your partner supportive of what you do? Because that also matters.
No, yeah. She's super supportive, but she just feels like, hey, you need to find a better balance. Like, there's certain things you got to let go now and just kind of focus and find, like, kind of like what you say, like, find your purpose. Like, what is exactly that you want to focus on that makes Robert happy? Mm-hmm. Like, what does Robert want to do full time, right? Because, I'm working at the school. I do merchandise that we do artist merchandise for when the tourists come to LA. I run a real estate management company.
Oh, shoot.
And I also have, I just did my first investment in property international, and I'm trying to figure that out. So, and then being a husband, and she's like, girl, like, you got to figure out.
What happened to the PR stuff? You didn't say the PR stuff.
Well, oh yeah, so the PR stuff. So
that's how I know you.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing all this other stuff.
No, hold on.
Shoot, you have to do a lot.
So I still do some of the PR stuff with Melissa, but I had to pull away a little bit from that, you know, just because, again, it's just like there was so much happening. You know, we still work together, and I still like it and everything. Like I think I'm, there to help her whatever she needs. but just, again, finding the balance between everything, And right now, I don't know why, but I just been enjoying the heck out of this, but doing the whole merchandise world thing, because we do artist pop-ups and all that, I just feel like I'm in my element right now when I'm doing that. So I've
That's
been
really
focusing
cool.
a lot on that. And it's just a new experience. Again, like I like trying different things in the business and learning different aspects of the business. I never really thought, like honestly, it wasn't until like 3 years ago. I never really thought anything of merch. Like, what? It's just merchandise. But no,
Right.
it's the whole experience, it's the whole
Are
thing
you?
for
When's your
artists.
birthday?
Scorpio,
You're a
November.
Scorpio? Okay, I thought you were gonna be a Sag. I'm November because Sags are very entrepreneurial that way.
Yeah.
Like to do a lot. But it's funny you say the merch thing and we should talk more at another point. But I also started like a print-on-demand e-commerce situation. It's called Constructed Socially, and it really is about the Black identity and Black representation, but across the diaspora. So whether you're Indigenous American or Indigenous in general, Latino or just Black American,
Right.
it's about the Black identity across that. So it's something I'm learning. I don't know. I haven't delved much into it. It was just something I'm like, merch is something like you said. It's like it complements a lot of sectors of what we do. Whether you have a brand or a podcast or you're an artist, like merch touches it. So
Right.
I felt like it was probably cool to get into it.
Right.
And so I've been kind of dabbling there, and I probably would love to pick your brain on some stuff with that.
No, bro. It's I've learned so much from that, and then just the business behind it. It's I don't know. It's crazy to just keep learning and seeing, the following. Like people really, bro. People be lining up for hours, days just to cop like a specific item, like that's dropping or whatever.
So yours is custom, right? You like pull them from warehouses and.
Yeah, no. So all we're doing is we're the middle people. They send us, like, let's say we had like, who do we have? Artist twice. They're coming into town. They're doing a pop up, so they'll send over all the merchandise, the layouts of how they want to set up. But the team that I work with, we basically just manages everything on site, helping put up the everything, just kind of.
That's a lot of work. The first opportunity you gave me with La Conexión, with you offered me to be on stage for that, and that was that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I just at the time just was so inundated with what I was doing professionally and what I had going on that I just didn't feel. I don't know if you call it imposter syndrome or what, but I just didn't feel ready for that.
Yeah.
But now that I've had more mental space and balance in my life, and I'm trying to be more mindful of who I am and what I do and contribute.
Right.
I'm more open to those things now.
Right. Yeah.
So.
No, it's crazy to say that because I had hit up like other people that work in the business, and I know they've done a lot of great things. They said the same thing, and honestly, I'm far from the person that likes being on a camera or even do a Q&A panel. I'm not that person. But one of the, again, going back, what I've learned a couple of years ago, I told myself, hey, I need to let people know what I do and, what services I offer, because otherwise people are not going to know what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I have to create content. And I think we're living in an era right now where content is everything, right? Like,
absolutely.
It's like we have to, and this is why, like David was pushing me. It's like, dude, you have to continue doing this. Like, I know you have something good going and you have to let people know, like all the stuff you're doing and.
Yeah, because I mentioned a little earlier, but the art of storytelling, that is the key to all of this, right?
Right.
Because in my mind, bro, everyone should be doing content to some capacity.
Right.
If you're a hair business or barber, content, right? Because you want to drive people to your shop. If you work in law, right? Yeah. Content, right? Talking head, teach people content. I can't tell you how many people I've seen, lawyers I've reached out to because I saw their content.
Right.
If you are I have a cousin in urban planning. I don't know how many people know about urban planning and how your city is structured and how transportation and how parks and all that stuff lend a hand into how you cultivate your community. Not something that was on my bingo card for stuff I would learn, but through her platform, 4 Degrees of Separation, I was able to learn a lot there. And it's, again, a field you don't normally see content in, but she's creating content. Yeah. And it's just I know it seems like we're so saturated with content, but now we're in an algorithm-based world where it's leaning toward interests.
Right.
So it's not so much like how much content you put out, but it's who's interested in it.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a lawyer and you're a lawyer, you do lawyer content, the algorithm's like, Robert's looking for a lawyer. Boom, lawyer content start popping up on your feed. Now guess what? You have new clients. So like, I really encourage everyone and anyone that if there's no content vertical to what you do, start one.
Yeah.
Because it's important.
I feel like we're all our own channel now. You know, before we would tune in on TV, we go on TV, turn on TV, and we go to channels. I feel like we're all a channel, and we all share like our stories and what we do. And dude, you'd be surprised how many people out there are interested to see what you do and the behind the scenes. I always tell people like, for me, the things that interest me the more, I hate watching TV, I hate watching anything in movies, none of that crap. The thing that interested me the most is always when people show their behind the scenes of whatever they do, right? What happened behind. I sit at a show because I work so many damn shows, and I'm just like, dude, the entire team that took to just put this on for like one night, right? Like the lighting, the sound, everything. And I'm just like, I wonder what else happens. The other day I was at Intuit Dome, and I stayed there after the show, and I'm just looking and seeing how they set up the fucking, break down the rigs.
Yeah.
You know, it was just so interesting to me. I was like, dude, like, this is what they do, and this is how they do it, and this is how long it takes.
That's why you have so many businesses, I feel like, because I feel like you have an interest on how things are done. Like, you always are asking questions why. And like, that's important. That's something I do. I'm very inquisitive. Like, I'm always questioning the process and wondering how things are getting done. The other day I was watching a YouTube video with iShowSpeed, with the streamer.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, what was mind-blowing, it was a behind the scenes of his process, because there's the one camera that like captures the stream, right? Like that everyone's watching with the chat. But then this guy was the camera behind it. And there was a point where they were in the room with his production team, and his production team was so small. There was like maybe 5 production people, one being the guy that actually carries the pack and like shoots. And he was feeding iShowSpeed ideas and giving him concepts and things to keep the stream engaging. And he's already an engaging person, but like to hear that there's a producer that helps him behind that, to see that process, I'm like, yo, that guy is me. Like, I was like, that guy's me. He was sitting on the floor on a phone with Verizon trying to figure out how to connect the damn mobile pack to the cameras. And I'm like, it looks gritty and it looks not important, but it's so critical.
Right.
And I could see the back of his head. I'm like, that is me. On the phone, calling people, talking to the mic, check, making sure the levels are right. Even though I'm a director, I'm doing all these small little things that like are pivotal to the production process of it all. And like, not one job is more important than the other. It's all important. So being in the nitty gritty like that is so critical.
Bro, you're that one person, bro.
Oh my gosh, bro. I was like, that is me.
Yeah. Yo, so Jonny, thank you very much for joining us today in episode 2. Can you tell people where to find you on socials?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. You can just follow me on my IG at Jonny Cruz 23. So JONNYCRUZ 23. That's my personal IG. Nice. And yeah, you can connect with me there. If you have any cool projects that you want to work on, hit me up. Hit me in the DMs.
You guys, again, he does it all. Make sure to follow him. Super creative person. Man, honestly, I'm always inspired by what you post and what you do. So
no, I appreciate you, man.
To know that.
And thank you for bringing me on. Yeah. Thank you for your platform. I know I passed up on the last La Conexión thing, but maybe this year is the year. We'll see.
No, this is going to be great, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.